Thank you for tuning in to the only stations giving you double the information and inspiration, WDRB Media and WGIV, the soul of Charlotte. This is Miss Carmen, your host of Carmen and Cream. Thanks for tuning in again this week. Last week we left off talking about intimacy in the friend relationship. We are in part 4 of the family unit, my 6-part series. We're just going through the stages of the relationship, how to build how to build a foundation, then how to build the framework. Then we also talked about the roof over our heads, gender roles, who takes care of what, who takes care of who, what everyone's positions are. And now we're talking about sparks and flow, which is what I'm calling my part 4. It's the chemistry, the electricity, the sparks, the energy of your relationship. And I just wanted to go over intimacy in the friend relationship, the committed relationship, the marriage relationship, and then just how to have fun with the whole family is what we'll close with. Today we're talking about intimacy in the committed relationship. I guess I may be a subject matter expert on this because I'm currently in a committed relationship, and everyone that is in a committed relationship should be a subject matter expert on this topic as well. I know we do quite a few things to keep each other interested, to keep each other happy, to continue to have that spark that we once had when we first met each other, or to try to at least. I guess you could say it's kind of like when you have a high and you try to get that same high, you need to do more and more and more. I don't want to call it call it an addiction. I'm just, giving you all a reference to go by. So as you grow together and as you mature within your relationship, you may have to put in a little more work, a little more effort to keep each other's interests and to keep the intimacy going and to keep the connection going and to grow a little closer. You may have to be a little more creative and work a little harder than you did when you first met, when you all were love struck and googly-eyed and all of that good stuff. So I'm just going to make some suggestions of what you can do that a lot of people may not make time to do, like going on one-day road trips are amazing. You can just get out of your norm, get out of your day-to-day. If you're sitting around the house or go over to each other's house, there's always something like laundry or dishes that need to be washed. So all of those things can kind of cloud you, the two of you. You're not really connecting, you're not really progressing, you're not declining, but it's basically kind of stagnant because you have all of these distractions. And a lot of times you can get into the car. When you get into the car, it makes you want to talk to each other if you're going a long distance. So it's just like you start these conversations and you actually have time to talk because you don't have anything else to do. I hate to say it that way, but and you don't have anything else better to do than to talk to your partner about things, unless someone's on the phone, and that's rather rude. If my partner was on the phone the whole time we were in the car driving a long distance, then there would definitely be an issue there. So you wouldn't want to do that, and I'm sure that the majority of you wouldn't do that. And then a lot of times too, the kids go to sleep in the car, y'all. That is like amazing. You have the kids are there, so you don't need a babysitter, but they go to sleep in the car, or they eat, or they're eating, or something like that. So it's not really too much of an issue with the kids in the car. Instead of being at home, they're running around, playing, throwing their toys everywhere. They want to get up and down, and want you to come look at something, want you to come play and run around. So it's like you don't have time to focus on the two of you, because the kids are dominating the situation. And so the beauty of being in the car, the children, after a certain while, they usually knock out, and they may be knocked out for the whole trip, just depending on how far you're going. And then once you get there, then the children can participate, of course. But it's just nice to have that downtime and that free time for the two of you to connect and kind of reminisce and go through things that you all enjoyed previously. It kind of brings back memories and reminds you of little things. It's a little romantic, so that's a good thing to do. And I'm not sure if you would, make pit stops along the way. I have a friend who took a trip. It was a long trip, though. It wasn't a day trip. Took a trip with her boyfriend, and he had little pit stops going along the way that he surprised her with. That was so romantic. So just little things like that. If you don't have the time or the funds to take a little day trip, then you can do things like poetry to each other. Write poetry together. I know I enjoy doing poetry, what I call poetry ciphers, like rap ciphers, where you just go back and forth spitting lyrics or whatever. If we're not together, we just like going back and forth. I'll freestyle a poem. I'll just write it. Just keep writing. I don't even backspace. I just keep writing. It keeps flowing out. All my feelings just keep flowing out into a poem, and then I send it. He reads it. He does the same thing, writes his and sends it back. So even some of them are great, outstanding. Like some of them could be published. Some of them are kind of whack. But it doesn't matter, because you're still having fun. You're still expressing your feelings for each other. You're still connecting on a certain level. So it's just fun to get what's on the inside of a person. Like poetry is something that you can see inside of a person when you read their poetry. And if you do rap, if the two of you happen to rap, which I'm not sure how likely that is, but if you do happen to rap, just sit down and do a cipher one day in the house and see how that goes. I'm sure it'll be laughs, it'll be fun, it'll be just something different, something outside the box. We don't want to be watching movies all day, or just getting prepared for lunch and dinner or whatever. I mean, that's good for just day to day, but when you have like a special day, a special weekend, you can make any weekend a special weekend. You can make any day a special day. It doesn't have to be considered a holiday. Wait for a holiday, or wait for the birthday or anniversary or whatever you do. When you're in a committed relationship, you can just surprise the person with anything. A note, a little love note, a card. I hand make stuff all the time. Just being honest, I know that you guys know that I'm very artistic, and some people aren't. Some people just aren't. So if that's not your thing, think of something else. But that just happens to be my thing. So I make things all the time, and I just make every little thing special. Like I went and bought a slice of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory one day, and I made it up in a little box and all that kind of stuff. It was really cute. And for Valentine's Day, instead of buying a card, I was just going to get a card. I wasn't going to do anything big. So instead of going to the store and buying a card, I found a jar that I cleaned out really nicely and put a message in a bottle, basically. So what I would have said in a card, I rolled up a piece of decorative paper, wrote a note on it. My son wrote his little piece on it. I made this little origami, if I can say it, origami heart, and anchored it down in there, and also put like some little colorful stuff in the bottom, wrote all over the jar and everything. It was really cute. It was like really cute and thoughtful. So those mean a lot to people, and that was from me going to a guy. So women, we can't forget that it's not all about us when it comes to the romance. It doesn't always have to be the man that's giving you flowers because it's Tuesday. Not saying that you should get your man flowers, but surprise him with something else that he likes, his favorite cookies or something like that. It shouldn't always be the man that. And I know, I'm sorry, ladies. I always get on y'all. I always get on us. Every show, I think every show I go through that, I always get on us because a lot of times we forget the man in the relationship. I'm just being honest. So, yeah, don't be afraid to just get him a gift because it's Wednesday or because it's Tuesday or because I love you or I appreciate the hard work you did on the lawn yesterday. You cut the grass, even though it's things that you be like, oh, okay, that's what he's supposed to do, you know. But at the end of the day, he has a choice. He doesn't have to, you know. He can hire a landscaping service or something like that. He doesn't have to get out there and do it, or he can leave it for you to do. So it's just like you would want to be recognized for the things that you do, the little things you do around the house. He would like to be recognized for the little things that he does around the house. And also, during the committed relationship, you can do Bible plans or read together, read other books together, and have discussions on them. So that's always fun, and you get to discover the way the person thinks, the way the other person thinks, because you're still kind of getting to know each other in this phase. You having your past being friends, you know each other pretty well, but when it comes to knowing the real person, the person that you may want to marry, then this is a great way to get inside their minds and to try to figure out the way that they think, the way that, you know, they process everything. And which is very important for when you're having disagreements, when you are having any type of issues or conflicts. It's important to know how that person thinks because a lot of things aren't intentional. It's just that you all think differently and process things differently. So if you're making assumptions of this is what I thought that you were going to do or I thought you were going to say, then that can be all wrong. That can be the wrong approach. It's very important to understand the way a person thinks. And so just that having that closeness to where you know how they are and you know how they think, you know how they operate, that they don't have to tell you, you know, when something's wrong, or they don't have to tell you, you know, when they want to do something. You would kind of know. So that just enhances the intimacy of the relationship. And so again, these are just a few ways. There are many, 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 many more, and we can discuss that on my Facebook. You can go on there and drop your ideas. You know, somebody might need it. Somebody may be having a bad week and they need to connect. So they may need to know how you connect with your partner if you're in a committed relationship without having sex. Like, everybody knows that sex may make the mood better right then and there in that second, but once that's gone, then what, you know? So even though I let it be known I'm not an advocate of sex in the committed relationship, so I wouldn't suggest that, but you know, I'm just suggesting other ways, other avenues, the right way to have intimacy in the committed relationship. So check out my Facebook, Carmen WGIV. Also follow me on Twitter at Carmen and Cream, and on Instagram it's also at Carmen and Cream. That's CarmenNCream. So Carmen and Cream. And I will talk with you guys next week where we talk about intimacy on the marriage relationship. And I'm actually going to have a guest speaker, a subject matter expert, because I'm not married. I don't want to be speaking on married when I'm not married. I've never been married. So I'm going to have a guest for you all, and he's going to have a lot to say, and hopefully it touches you just as much as my words do. Thank you so much for tuning in to WGIV. You have a wonderful week.